I'm just thinking again about models of the brain instantiated in kind of human scale materials. You know, I'm kind of imagining a space that's got a model of a brain in it, sort of. So I did one that's based on vuvuzelas, those trumpets they use in South African football matches, and I did one which uses heat and thermostats and little heating units, and how you could string these things together to make systems which develop patterns and allow those patterns to propagate and evolve and so on. And now I'm thinking about one that's based on light. And now I'm kind of, I don't know if I'll be able to describe this, I might draw a picture of this at some point. But what I'm kind of imagining is a system in which, and it's loosely based on the model of a neuron, what a neuron is. A neuron, a brain cell, has got, the cell body has got one axon going out of it, which is where the signal that, when that cell fires, so to speak, that signal goes out along the axon. But it's got lots and lots of inputs, tens of thousands of inputs, dendrites coming in. And it's only when all those dendrites, all those inputs that are coming in, fire synchronously, that the neuron itself activates and sends its own signal out through its axon. So it's about, and as I say, the brain is a vast network of those things set up in such a way that information can be generated through patterns, and those patterns can, as I say, propagate and evolve and so on. Okay, vuvuzelas, heat, light. Okay, what I'm imagining is, see, I don't know much about the technology in this, but I know there are such things as light meters, and I know there are devices you can put outside your house, and when the light levels fall to a certain point, a light switches in or not automatically. And some cars have got that, when it gets to nightfall, the car headlights come on automatically. So I know it's possible to use light levels as a switch. And light levels are analog. You can increase them very slowly. They're not either on or off. They're incremental. So I can imagine this a light meter. Let's say it's at the centre of a circle. So you've got this light meter, which is measuring the level of ambient light around it, and then surrounding it, you've got a whole set of little tiny lights, little light bulbs, like flashlight bulbs. Maybe 20 of them surrounding it, something like that. And when, let's say, 15 of those light bulbs are illuminated, that generates enough light for the light meter to trip a switch, which sends a signal down a cable to a light bulb of its own. But that light bulb that it sends the signal to is itself one of 20 around another light meter. You kind of imagine that? And each of those light bulbs in that ring of 20 is also connected through an axon to another light meter, which sits at the centre of another circle of light bulbs, and so on. And so there's just a lot of these things. A lot of them are interconnected, so that they're shuttling information backwards and forwards. So I think what would happen in there, let's say you triggered the system, it's sitting there right now, and there's no, it's all dark, it's just darkness. You could shine a flashlight at the part of the system, one of the light meters, or maybe 2 or 3 of the light meters, and what that would do is that would generate a signal there which would illuminate a number of bulbs somewhere else in the system. The light level would go up in that area, again triggering the light meter switch, which would send a signal to elsewhere in the system. Some of this would form re-entry loops, so some of the patterns would be stable for a while, and they would, you get little flickering lights of patterns like this, like Christmas tree lights, going around in circles for a while, and then the lights would swarm off somewhere else as this system propagated differently. And each pattern would kind of add to the general illumination of the system, and the more broadly kind of local illumination of the system. Not just, it would be leaky. You know what I mean? Each ring of lights wouldn't just affect the light meter at its centre. It would also leak out, and so if there was an area of activation produced, the light produced by that general area of activation would tend to propagate out, kind of in rings, I'm imagining it, and then the centre would darken, so you get kind of rippling effects and swarming effects across the surface of this set of this network of lights and switches and light meters. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what use it would be, and I'm not saying it would think. It's not a brain in that sense. It's just an information system which is entirely based on connection. There's no, the connections in that system, or the Vuvuzela brain or the heat brain. They don't. The connections don't join intelligent units together. They're not passive wires joining complex machines. The whole thing is a complex machine forming patterns of connection, and it's the patterns that are doing the work. Oh look, Phoebe's sitting down, she's tired. We've walked the edges this morning. She doesn't want to go any further. Come on, Phoebes. Anyhow, if someone knows why that wouldn't work, because I don't know anything about light meters, let me know.